What's up, Zombie Talk 123 here. I hope you guys are having a real good day. I'm pretty sure Barry Larkin is having one of the best days of his life. You can see here smiling on the phone. He's not receiving a call from the Reds asking him to be their 2012 shortstop. He's not receiving a call from ESPN asking him to renew a contract as an ESPN analyst or Baseball Tonight analyst. Much more special news. He got the news that he was chosen to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Now let's look at Barry Larkin here. First of all, I want to say congratulations to him, his family, and the Cincinnati Reds organization and their fans. Remember, he's only the 24th shortstop to be inducted in the Cooperstown Hall of Fame. So this is absolutely a fantastic feat, an amazing feat for a guy like Barry Larkin. He's a great guy. I like to see him on ESPN. He's a great analyst, and I can't even imagine how good of a player he was. Having gone to 12 All-Star games, winning 9 Silver Slugger awards, and 3 Gold Gloves, this guy definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, for me, obviously I didn't grow up in his era, so it wasn't an obvious thing. I looked at the kind of numbers that stood out, or the numbers that people were reporting, right away, 198 home runs. And you look at that and you're like, he seems more like a borderline candidate than someone who would get 86% of the Hall of Fame voting. And the only one on the 2012 ballot to actually be inducted into the Hall of Fame. In second place, it was Jack Morris with 66.7% of the votes. He had 382 votes. But, this is his 13th year on the ballot, so, Jack Morris, hopefully it works out for you in the next few years. Obviously, baseball writers, they sent, 9 blank ballots. They're not just going to award someone who's been trying for all these years to get in the Hall of Fame. They vote accordingly, obviously, and we'll see. Jack Morris could very well get in the next few years. Let's see how he does next year and the year after that if he doesn't make it next year. But, there's someone, Dale Murphy's been trying for 14 years. This is his 14th year, and he only received just over 14%. So, there's definitely some guys that have been on the ballot for a while that just keep getting over that 5%, but it's obviously not looking like a possibility that they actually get in the Hall of Fame right now. Someone that I think some people might actually want to see how he did, Mark McGwire. Yes, he was a fantastic hitting coach for the Cardinals. He really does understand the game and the game of hitting, the mentality of it, how each pitch changes the at-bat so much, and just pure hitting. I mean, he helped guys like David Freese, Albert Pujols a little bit, but Albert Pujols also coached him a little bit. But, he really did help a lot of guys on this team develop. Alan Craig, find their stroke, find their power swing. And you saw that in the playoffs. All this depth that the Cardinals have, yes, they had great swings. Yes, they've developed a great, minor league system with some deep hitters and a lot of pitchers. But Mark McGwire was a big part of that this year. And he really was a great hitting coach. So I think some writers are taking that in perspective. But really, at the end of the day, he did use steroids in a steroid era. You can't get too upset with that because it was a steroid era. But at the same time, you can't be happy with it either. I mean, it's not acceptable to use steroids. And yes, a lot of players did use it at the time, but that just ends your chances of getting to the Hall of Fame. That doesn't do anything good for you. So, for Mark McGwire, we'll see how it goes in the future. Obviously, if he didn't use steroids, maybe he didn't produce as many numbers, but I still think he would definitely be a Hall of Famer if he didn't use steroids. I think that's kind of an obvious. But, when Barry Larkin, Jack Morris, Jeff Bagwell, those were the top 3. Lee Smith had 50%, and Tim Raines on his 5th year of the ballot had 48%. So some of those guys are definitely possibilities in the future. But the main one is Barry Larkin. I mean, he's only a 24th shortstop to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be inducted this year, July. He'll be inducted with Ron Santo, and Tim McCarver will be receiving a award for broadcasting. So you look at all of this. You look at the overall numbers of home runs with 198, and it's a little bit deceiving. Yes, he played 19 years of his career, and you average that up, and that's like hitting, like 10.8 home runs or something a year. So, yes, that's a little bit of a deceiving number, obviously, because all you have to do is look at any of his other numbers. Having over 2,300 hits, a lot of doubles, a lot of triples. He had a ton of steals, especially in that 30-30 season where he had 36 steals and 33 home runs. He had more walks than strikeouts, so his on-base percentage is exactly where you want it to be for a shortstop. Definitely above average, Hall of Fame type shortstop. A franchise guy, I mean, you definitely want to see players grow up there, play their whole career, almost 20 years. He almost played 20 years in the same city. He understands the city. He was part of the golden days of the Reds. I just made that. I don't know if anyone actually uses that term, the golden days, but the golden ages, I'll say, of the Reds. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of the 1990 season when they won the World Series? And he was a huge part of that. It was a huge part of that team for 19 years. I mean, he obviously understands the franchise, and I enjoy listening to him as an analyst right now. He knows his stuff, and he's definitely Hall of Fame worthy, and I am so glad they inducted him, or they will induct him this July. I believe it's pretty late July like 22nd. He will join the greats. I mean, all the great players in Cooperstown today that are remembered or still living today, they all mean so much to baseball history, and Barry Larkin is just adding to that legacy of shortstops. I think he's in the top 10 of all-time shortstops. You don't have to just look at his numbers. Yes, you can compare his career stats to any of those guys, and he ranks right up there. But then you also look at what he did on and off the field for this organization, this city, during the World Series. He hit over 300. This is a guy who competed in the World Series, is a franchise icon, and obviously the baseball writers of America agreed. They voted him in there, 86% of them, almost 500 votes. That is a ton. He blew the competition away. He got on there, which is so important, and I can't even imagine his joy. I mean, he has grounded his legacy into baseball history, into the Reds history, and he gets to sit back. He's only 47 and enjoy that the rest of his life and be remembered as a Hall of Fame shortstop. What a legacy. I mean, he provided speed, power, and defense to this team for 19 years. He deserves it. Congrats. Thanks again for watching Tell Me Talk 123. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I don't like to promote, but I I guess I'm gonna promote for 1 second here. I just want to remind you guys I'm on Twitter, so if you want to check me out, I do follow or update it very regularly, give some news on lots of things, and we'll have interviews of minor league players. So send in questions. Thanks.